Hey everybody, welcome to Return to Positive. Today we're going to be making lasagna. Okay, today I'm going to be making a lasagna. We make it a little different than most people. We do not use lasagna noodles, pasta in the traditional way. We use egg roll wrappers. Okay, so what you're going to need is some cream cheese, softened to room temperature, or you can do it in the microwave. If you soften cream cheese in the microwave, do it on power level 2 or 3. And we're also going to need Parmesan cheese, mozzarella cheese. This is ground beef. You can use ground turkey, any meat of your choice. You can use Beyond Meat, whatever. This is ground beef, and we had a little sausage left over from breakfast, so we mixed it in here. And of course, the wonton noodles. This is a 9x13 pan. You can make it whatever size you want. My wife did the meat, and in the meat we did salt, pepper, garlic salt, oregano, and basil. Then we used some ragu. You can use your favorite kind, or you can use stewed tomatoes, diced tomatoes. If you use those, make sure to spice them up pretty good with, again, basil, oregano, garlic, and salt and pepper. So the way we start, I have the oven preheating to 350 degrees. I have sprayed this pan. It is a non-stick pan, but I still spray it. You always start with sauce on the bottom as a layer. If you don't want to use meat, you do not have to use meat in a lasagna. You can use vegetables that you have sauteed up. For a vegetarian, that works just fine. And we're just going to spread this around for the beginning of our first layer. And then what we do, these are pretty thin, these egg roll wrappers, so you want to make sure to peel them apart. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to lay them down, overlapping slightly. I did cut up a few into half so that we can fit it down the side, and then we'll alternate sides so that the larger piece will be on top of this smaller piece, and also the end. So when I do this, I'll start at this end where the smaller piece is, and we'll go from there. So let me cut one of these even smaller, and I'm going to set that here and here. So on our first layer, what I'm going to do is I use cream cheese that I have put oregano and basil in, salt and pepper. You can use ricotta cheese, you can use cottage cheese. I personally don't care for the cottage cheese, but many people do. The cream cheese just gives it a better flavor, we think. That's how we eat it. And you just want to put dollops around. When you put the next layer on, you can press and it will spread out a little more for you. So here we go, one more maybe. Alright. Then I'm going to put, this is the cheese layer, so what I'm going to do then is I'm going to put some Parmesan cheese. You can use fresh, you can use, in this case I'm just using the dry. And then we're going to take a little of the mozzarella. This works well with provolone. If you have some, throw it in there. So we're going to put some of the mozzarella in here. And then we're going to put our next layer of egg roll wrappers. So like I said, this time I'm starting on this end This side had the bigger squares, so I'm moving it over to here. That way this side isn't just all small pieces, so they'll fall apart when you lift them up. And then we'll take our narrow pieces, put them here and here. And as the pan goes up, it does go out a little bit, so they'll fit a little better or a little worse. Here we go. We're going to press this down a little bit, and I can see that the cream cheese has spread out a little bit. And now we move on to a meat sauce layer. Now you can also do your meat separately and your sauce separately. So if you want a little bit drier, some people don't like a lot of sauce, that's fine. Just put your ground beef or ground meat on this layer and then pour some sauce to your liking. I do recommend making the top pretty wet, so if you don't like a lot of sauce in the middle, please make sure to put quite a bit on the top so that your noodles don't dry out or burn. So there we go, we've got a nice layer of meat and sauce. And then we're going to do another layer. And again, I'm flipping to the opposite side. You can, of course, you can use your lasagna noodles. I prefer to cook the lasagna noodles first and cool them a little bit. I know there are recipes where you can use dry noodles. Those don't tend to work for me very well. The pasta never seems to really be quite done enough for me, so that's your preference, of course. If you've made it that way in the past, help yourself. So here we go, then we go to another cheese layer. Now if you want to make this a much deeper layer, you would use a much deeper pan. Throwaway aluminum pan would be ideal if you're making it for a party or a get-together once people are allowed to get together. Or if you want to make enough to freeze. That's what I would recommend, just because how often are you going to use a super deep pan? So the foil ones you can get at most grocery stores are fine. And as you see, this was just one block of cream cheese because I knew we weren't going to make it super deep. So we're going to do our next cheese. Here's the Parmesan. And again, the mozzarella. And our noodles, again, I'm rotating over. Now, if you get a couple noodles or egg roll wrappers that are stuck together, it's not a big deal. It will be a little chewy in those spots where you get too many, but it's not the end all, you know, of the world. So, and again, press down. And then we're going to do meat on top. Alright, and there we go. So what we're going to do, since this is our final layer, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put, I have a few of these left, so I'm going to go ahead and put this last amount as a as a layer, and I think I almost messed that up here, so here we go. Get back to my normal side. And then we'll just put this one more, and then I'll put the rest of this sauce on top. Like this, and I have this little half left, so I'm just going to throw it right in there. And then we're going to use the rest of this sauce. So I'm going to get a spatula to make sure I get it all. So I'm going to make sure to scrape all of this off. And I'm trying to keep the pan in the frame, so don't mind me if I'm looking awkward, because I am. So try to get out as much as you can. No sense wasting. I watch some people online and they waste so much stuff, drives me crazy. So there you go, just kind of push it all out of there. And then I'm going to spread this around. Now this top layer is going to be wet enough because the layer right below it is nothing but sauce. So if it was a cheese layer, then no, I wouldn't finish with this little bit of sauce. But you want to make sure to cover the corners really well. You don't want any of the corners or edges just sticking out there without anything on them, because they will dry and become very hard and crispy, which is okay, I suppose, if you like that. So now we're going to finish with the mozzarella. Now, most ways you make lasagna, the noodles are cooked, the meat is cooked, the cheese is really just being melted. Now, if you add eggs to ricotta or cottage cheese or anything like that, then you're going to want to cook it longer. But for the most part, you're really just heating this through, since most everything has been cooked. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this into a 350-degree oven for about a half hour. And then I'm going to, but before I do that, I'm going to cover this with a piece of foil that I tent so it doesn't stick to the cheese. You can spray the foil too if you want, just for this on the safe side. So that'll heat it through, and then I'll take the foil off and just leave it long enough for it to get nice and bubbly. And then I'll bring it out to you and show you what we have. Okay guys, I'm going to show you how I tent this before I put it in case you're new to cooking or baking and you're not sure what you're doing. So I took a piece of foil, and we buy the great big foil from like Sam's or Costco, I suppose. So what I'm going to do is I have a piece of foil here, and all I do is lift, and then you're just going to crease it down the middle and then fold it over just a little bit, about an inch, half inch. Then you grab that in the middle, and that's going to be how we keep it away from the food. So I'm just going to bring this down like this and gently wrap it. And it's a little hard to see, but I'll see if I can't show you on the side here how that is tented up a little bit. It's not flat. And that's all you need to do. That way the cheese won't stick to this, and then when we take it off, it'll be much easier. So I'm going to go ahead and put this into the 350-degree oven for about 30 minutes, and then we'll pull the foil off and let it get golden brown, and then I'll show it to you. Alright everybody, thanks for joining me today. Hope you have a great day. Do something fun or something you haven't done before. Have a blessed day. Thank you. See you next time.